The following non-nominated, non-award-winning program is rated D for dumb.
The following podcast is rated D for dumb. You're listening to Dumbing It Down with Dave, the fastest podcast on earth. Listen to Dave commute to and from work on the New York State Thruway in his 2008 Kia Rio LX. He talks about pragmatism, truth, happiness, and the search for it all. Join Dave as he asks and tells you how life ought to be. And now, here's Dave.
Hello everybody, Dave-Kanyan here, your one and only solo podcast host for this episode and all the other episodes. Are you ready to dumb it down? Wow, I don't know if I've ever done that. In 323 episodes have I stepped over my tongue like that. Your one and only solo podcast host. How hard is that to say? I made it difficult. I made it seem like it was like, wow, Dave, you must be really struggling with your tongue in the English language. No, I'm doing fine, folks. Hello, welcome back to Dumbing It Down with Dave, a podcast that I do in my car, my 2008 Kia Rio LX, to and from work. I'm not actually at work or going to work. I'm actually going home from a 3-hour training session. I'm sitting at a light. That's why you hear the blinker. I'm sitting at a light here in Albany at Central Avenue, I think Everett Road. I'm about to get to onto I-90, which will take me onto I-787, which will take me onto I-87, which will get me home. And it's about a 45, 50-minute commute and all that good stuff. But this is what I do. I've been doing this now for, 7 years, 8 years. I actually found an email, like my original email that I received from Spreaker after I signed up. And I forgot the date. I think it was somewhere between 7 and 10 years ago. I really don't remember. Well, this is a 2008 Kia Rio. So I bought it in 2010, and I started podcasting not too long after that. So you know what? I think it's been 10 years. It doesn't matter. That's the icebreaker. I like to just say hello and, warm up the old vocal cords. And greetings and salutations, as they say. I am headed home. I just worked out for 3 hours at Shots Boxing, S-C-H-O-T, I think T''S, Shots Boxing in Albany. I started boxing there several years ago. Unfortunately, I only did about 3 or 4 lessons, training sessions, or whatever you want to call them. They're all lessons. Everything's a lesson. And then my mom had her stroke, and everything changed. And then I blew up the fit. For those of you who have been following Dave's Fit Life, I blew up the fit. And the schedule changed, my job changed, everything changed. So I stopped. And then I had prepaid in advance for 36 training sessions because there was a deal. I forgot what the deal was. Buy 12, get 24 free. Buy 24, get 12 free. It doesn't really matter. And anyway, I had all these lessons, these training sessions left over. And for years I didn't come here because I couldn't make it. The guy that trains me, Rick, is only here in the morning. Rick Sweeney, great trainer. He's only here in the morning. I don't know what he does the rest of the day, but I can't ask him to come in at night. He doesn't want to. He set up his life, so he trains in the morning. I got to go by his rules. So, an obstacle, blowing up the fit, an obstacle, losing my vehicle, changing jobs, changing schedules, mom having a stroke, me having to go down. For those of you who followed me years ago, you know that I went down to the nursing home during her rehab, and I lived with her for about 60 some odd days, 64, I think it was. I had to put up with a lot of financial and family strife. It was difficult. It was just arduous. It was uphill the whole time. It was not good for my health. Not that anybody gave a crap, but not you, the audience, but people who saw me, people who were related to me, they just weren't as aware as I think they should have been. And ultimately, it's my responsibility, isn't it? It's my responsibility. It's your responsibility as a human. And that's one of the things that we talk about here on the show. Pragmatism, truth, happiness, and the search for it all. And my pragmatism should have been like, well, I can't be here every day, but the situation, I'll come here every other day, or I have to figure out a way where I can take care of my mom and at the same time take care of me. But it was very difficult at that time. For those of you that remember, and those who don't remember, I'll remind you. I don't remember, I'll remind you. that my parents are deaf. Well, they were. Now they're dead. They just changed the last letter. They went from deaf to dead. It's not normally the way it goes. Normally you're deaf, then you live a long time, which they did. I'm only kidding. So they went from deaf to dead. That's not the name of the show. Although, not a bad title. Maybe another day I'll use that title, Deaf to Dead. But this show is actually episode number 23. I'm going to call the show Getting Past the Quit. Getting Past the Quit. P-A-S-T. Past the Quit. Q-U-I-T. And I thought of this today while I was on the treadmill. Some people call it the dreadmill with a D. Again, you changed a couple of letters there. One letter. It's a show all about changing one letter. Maybe that's the name of the show, right? I should title it, Change One Letter, and it changes the meaning. Well, that's stupid. Of course we know you change one letter. Changes the meaning. So, I'm on the treadmill, but I don't call it the treadmill because I don't dread it. Although I dread mostly everything in my life, right? But I'm on the treadmill, and I want to quit. I want to quit before I hit the 3.1 mile mark. I do 3.1 miles because it's a 5K. That was the goal. Ever since I've been training, the goal was to try to run a 5K without walking, so I could run the entire 5K. These are all little goals. You got to have little goals. A couple of weeks ago, it was all I could do to do a mile. A mile and a half, then a mile. I keep on working my way up. I keep on pushing the limit. Once upon a time, when I was running, and I was running half marathons down in New York City, and I was doing 5Ks all the time, I was 290 some odd pounds, like I was about 3 or 4 months ago. And I couldn't run 50 feet without breathing hard. I mean, really breathing hard. That horrible irritation you get in your throat, and you can't, your water. It's like this. It's horrible. Like you feel like you're going to pass out. You feel like you're going to die. And I'm a little bit past it now. Not a lot past it. I'll be honest with you. I'm a little bit past it, and I'm getting there. So today was my first, really legitimate. I walked a little bit. My really first legitimate in this training period I've been on since I went carnivore, by the way. We're still talking about that. I'm trying to get out of this carnivore Dave's Fit Life conversations in my Dumbing It Down with Dave episodes, but it's what's going on, folks. It's what's happening. I could talk about Trump and Biden, but right now it's a little bit early. We're getting to it. We're going to get to Trump and Biden, Trump and Biden, and all that other good stuff like I used to in the weeks and months to come. So I wanted to quit, but I wanted to quit when I had 2 miles and I had 1.1 miles to go. I wanted to quit, 10 different times on the treadmill. I wanted to quit, when I was in the ring training with Rick. After, 1 round, after 2, we do 4 rounds of training, 4 3-minute rounds. I don't mind doing the speed bag and the heavy bag, but there are moments where I just take a step and I walk away. You're always mentally in the ring when you're training for boxing, whatever you're doing, you're hitting the speed bag or the heavy bag. You always are in a ring of a sort, and you're doing 3 minutes at a time. But I want to quit. I want to quit all the time. This morning when my alarm went off, or any morning that I wake up without the alarm, I look around the room, I go, I want to quit. I don't want to go. I don't want to drive all the way up to Albany from my house. It's an hour drive. I don't want to burn the gas. I don't want to pay the money. I don't want to sit in a car. I don't want to be awake. I like the comfort of my blanket and my pillow. I just want to be here. I don't want to go anywhere else. When things get tough at home financially, I don't want to pay bills anymore. I just want to go to jail. Let me go to jail. I'll be honest with you. I've said that in my head. I've said it out loud. I'm going to stop paying bills. Just take the house. I'll go to jail. What kind of a jail are they going to send me to? If you don't pay your bills, eventually you get homeless. They won't send you to jail, but eventually you'll be homeless. Anyway, it's not what I want. But, I tell myself, I want to quit. So, I want to give you a message of hope, right? That's what people want. They want to hear hope. And I've always hung on to hope. That's been my whole thing. That's why I got rid of my depleters, because my depleters were depleting me and they were leaving me with no hope. They weren't replenishing me. We're not going to do a show about depleters. For those of you who are new to the show, go look it up. But I got rid of my depleters because they just weren't replenishing me. And I need hope, because hope is really all I have to hold on to. And I say it out loud all the time. I'm holding on to hope. Why do I do this? Why do I do that? Because I'm holding on to hope. How do you get past the quit? Well, yeah, I am holding on to hope. But what's interesting on the treadmill, and during this whole carnivore process that I've been on, that, by the way, I hope the sound is good. I think the sound's been okay. It's a little flat. And if the sound seems to fluctuate, it's because the microphone, of course, is on the cord. The cord's plugged into the phone. And if I don't hold the cord in the right way and it flops around, it gets buried in my hoodie or whatever. So if I turn my head, it doesn't always sound the best. So I apologize for all that. We're making progress. I think 2024, we're going to find a solution. We're making progress, and we're going to find a solution to get to the best sound. All right? Let me just pause. I'm not going to pause. Let me take a coffee break. A little sip of the coffee. I just got a McDonald's large with 4 creams. I was going to go black. I've done black coffee a lot lately, but I wanted to go to the cream today. Oh, yeah, that's great. I'm really not a fan of McDonald's. I don't want to support them, but there's something, I don't care about them, but at the same time, they do make an excellent coffee, and I like their coffee better than Dunkin' Donuts. So, yeah, so there's a message of hope here. I'm holding on to hope. And one of the things I think about when I'm on the treadmill, and when I don't want to wake up, and I don't want to get out of bed, I don't want to get in the car, I don't want to put the keys in the ignition, there's so many moments of quit. You know how people say, oh, that guy's got no quit in him. Well, I bet he does. You got to. I believe you have to. You got to have quit in you, but you tell yourself to get past it. At some point you quit. Have you quit? Let me ask you something. Have you quit? You've ever quit? How many times have you quit in your life? Quit big things, little things. You quit school. You quit your job. You quit your marriage. You quit on a friend. You quit on a trip. You quit on a job. What did you quit on? I'm curious. In the comment sections here on Spreaker, if you're listening on another podcast app, platform, or whatever, that has a comment section, feel free to leave a comment. Most of the other apps that play my show don't seem to have, except for Podbean, don't seem to have a comment section. And I've checked other apps, and nobody seems to really be listening. I think my big listenership is on Spreaker. So for those of you who come to Spreaker, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And in a second here, I'm going to give you a phone number for those of you that don't like to type or are listening on a platform other than Spreaker and don't have the opportunity to write a message. I'm going to give you a number, and you can call me as soon as I find that screenshot. I have a Dumbing It Down with Dave hotline. Dave, find it fast. You're losing energy. The show is going downhill. People don't want to know that you're scrolling for a phone number. Yeah, I had it, and then there it is. Okay. So the Dumbing It Down with Dave hotline is 347-338-8487. 347-338-8487. That number, once again, real slow. I'll try to put it in the show notes. 347-338-8487. And you can leave a voicemail. Try to leave it like a minute or less or whatever, in that area. And, be honest, have integrity, be clear, and try not to curse. I'd rather you not curse. And if it's applicable, I'll download it and we'll air it on the show. I'll include your name and everything if you want. You can be anonymous if you want. So you can do that. Once again, 347-338-8487. And I want to thank real quickly Gail Nobles. Gail Nobles, thank you very much for commenting on episode 322. 322 were weigh-ins on Friday only. Weigh-ins on Friday only. Michael Myers, thank you, Michael Myers. Way to go, Dave, he wrote. Thank you, Michael Myers. I appreciate it. And, of course, the wonderful Linda Irwin, who's been there from the beginning, pretty much, I think, from the beginning. So, Linda Irwin out there, probably freezing and buried in 10 feet of snow out there in McCall, Idaho. Thank you, Linda. I really, really super appreciate your input, and your energy is always wonderful to see. And I'm glad you're still alive and kicking and probably screaming or doing something. I miss your show, Awesome Insanity Surfers. I miss the comedy. I miss the wackiness. I miss all of that. Anyway, so thank you, Gail, Michael, and Linda. Great job. And for those of you who have commented on other shows but didn't comment on that show, it's not too late. It's not too late. You can go listen to 322 and comment. You can do that. And, of course, on this show, I really appreciate everybody's engagement. So one of the things I tell myself, staying on track, is when I'm on the treadmill and I want to quit, and all those moments I want to quit, because I want to quit all the time, especially during this carnivore period of my life. For those of you that don't know, I came out as a carnivore a couple of weeks ago. I started back in October, mid-October. I'm down 40 pounds from like a 297. I was down to about 257, 258 a couple of weeks ago, here and there. Then I go back up to 260. You will have weight fluctuations on the carnivore diet. I don't know why, but whatever. It's fine. I don't care. I really don't care about the weight. The number is irrelevant to me. I really don't want to talk about the number, but I know a lot of people really love hearing about the number and all that good stuff. But one of the things I tell myself while I'm on the treadmill is, Dave, you have said out loud many times. You've said it in your head. You've said it to people. So when I say I've said it out loud, I've said it to myself. I said it, while I'm driving my truck. I've said it when I'm in my room. I said it all the time. If I wasn't working and driving a truck 12, 14, 16 hours a day, I'd be doing something else. And it's amazing how many, I've been truck driving now, I think for 30 years. Truck driving. I've driven cabs, car services, stretch limousines, smaller trucks, buses. I've driven buses. I've had long days. 5 years I drove a bus for Trailways. And then I've been driving tractor trailer. I think it's been 30 years. I don't know. I got out of the Navy in 23. So I've been driving ever since I got out of the Navy. And when I was in the Navy, I drove over there too. I drove ships. I drove submarines. You don't actually drive, but you're on the helm. You're doing something. And I look back, I go, God, that was a lot of hours. It's a lot of time. I was a full-time everything. Almost every job I've ever had was full-time. Except for the part-time jobs, which I did after my full-time jobs. I cleaned porta potties. I delivered pizza. I was a courier. I've talked about it on the show many times. The long list. My wife used to say, God, aren't you embarrassed? I go, no, I'm not embarrassed. I've tried a lot. I've learned a lot of things. I've done a lot. I'm very capable. I'm not an expert at anything, but I'm very capable. I have an ability to learn. I'm slow. I'm a lot slower now than I've ever been. Maybe now I'm a little bit better, but I'm a slow learner. But I get there. My production company is called .001 Productions because that's what I think life happens for me. 0.001 at a time. 0001, 4 zeros, 001. But yeah, whatever. I made up a number. 0.001. 0.1 sounded silly because everybody's like something 1, or 2.0 or something like that. I went the other way. I went 0.001. And by the way, recently, a podcast acquaintance of mine, we were talking about things, and he said, I said, I have a list. They're like, 1 is this, 2 is this, whatever it was. And he goes, well, why don't you have another list that goes 1.1? I was like, oh, yeah, I guess I could do that. Whatever. It was. I think there was more to it, but I appreciated the suggestion. In other words, it's not like 5 things or 10 things I got to do. Yes, it is, but don't count it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Try to count it as 1, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. And like, all right, that's a little trickery maybe of the brain, whatever. Anyway, I need another coffee break. I don't know why when I talk lately on this podcast, I sound like a football coach. I sound like somebody who's been in an audience yelling, for encore, Okay, anyway. So, now when I want to quit, I tell myself, but Dave, when you drove a truck, and you still do drive a truck, you're still employed full-time. When you're at that 10th hour, you go, oh, why can't I go home? They go, hey, we need you to do another load. We need you to make another delivery. We need you to go back out and do more. We need you to do this. Or that was the day I knew I had at the beginning of the day. I knew I had a couple of years ago when I was doing freight for the same company. I was doing 14-hour days. I was driving from Albany to Philadelphia, New Jersey. I was making pickups and deliveries. Holy cow, it was a long day. And by the way, that doesn't include the commute. So including the commute, I used to do a 16-hour day. But now, during this layoff, while I'm a carnivore, I tell myself, But this is your job now. You are self-employed. You don't work for a trucking company. You don't work for an oil company. You don't work for a milk company. You don't work for a freight company. You work for yourself. This is for you. And it really shouldn't even be work. It's play. I mean, treadmill play? Yeah, whatever. Boxing play? Yeah, okay. Speed bag, heavy bag, all the other dopey things that they got going on in there in the gym. Yeah, is it fun? Well, I don't see myself smiling when I look in the mirror. I don't feel like I'm happy. You're like, wee! I'm not sparring. I'm not getting punched in the face. But I do want to have a boxing match. I do want to have a legitimate amateur fight. It doesn't sound like fun, does it? Everything sounds like fun until you get punched in the face. Mike Tyson has a great quote. Everybody has a plan, I think it is. Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. And that changes everything. It's a great quote. Mike Tyson, the new genius of the 21st century, really has great quotes. And boxing is a great metaphor, I think, for life. You know, the Rocky quote, you know, life isn't all about how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you get hit or get knocked down and keep coming back. You know, I guess if you're going to get hit, that's what, you know, life is like that. And I've been hit. Have you been hit? I bet you've been hit. So where's your quit? What did you quit? And what have you gotten over? What quit have you gotten over? I love when you engage with me. Everybody. Linda, Michael, Gail, Lynn, and Luke, and Hal. I haven't heard from Hal in a long time. Where are you folks? Where's everybody? Tell me what your quit is. Where did you quit? And be honest. You quit and you regret it? Or you quit and you feel, maybe it was a relationship. You know what? I quit. I feel good. I feel so much better now. That was the smartest move I ever made. Well, how to get past your quits? Ugh. I didn't want to practice anymore. I didn't want to build that anymore. I didn't want to be there anymore. Whatever it is. Quitting is a fascinating part of life. Both sides of it. The quit and the getting past the quit. The not quitting. It's a fantastic part of life that I don't know if many podcasts actually talk about. Because when you say the word quit, people go, oh, I don't want to admit. It's not failure. By the way, there's another conversation we can have. Is quitting failure? Sometimes, probably, right? Sometimes, no. It's a good idea. You know, you put your hand on top of the fire. How long can you keep your hand on top of the fire? Walking through those coals. You know, they got that walking through coals thing, or barefoot. I have never done it. I don't see myself ever doing it. But, you know, quitting. Getting past the quit. And today I was on the treadmill. I was going, I got to stop. It's a half an hour. I'm done. But I did it. And I finally got, first time on this treadmill since I've been back exercising and I've been carnivoring. I ran a legitimate 3.1 mile 5K. And then I cooled down. I'm going to post a picture somewhere on Dave's Fit Life and maybe the Dumbing It Down with Dave Facebook page. Don't forget to visit that. I'm also on Twitter at Dumb with Dave. And yeah, I think I eventually walked like 3.5 miles. You know, after the 3.1, I walked an additional half a mile to cool down. And then I stretched. I did a great stretch, and I feel good. I'm not tight. I'm not sore. I got energy. And I want to thank Luke Detler from the Luke Loses podcast, who pointed out a couple of episodes ago, I don't hear you yawning. It's been a long time since you've done a podcast, right, Dave? He didn't say it, I'm saying that you haven't yawned. You usually are yawning all the time. Yeah, that's true. And I love it. I love not yawning. I love having the energy for you. I wish my voice sounded better. I wish this microphone was better. I think the audio in the car sounds great. Still going strong, 2008 Kia Rio. I wanted to make adjustments to this car 7 years ago to make it more, studio worthy, recording worthy. But I never got around to it. And now, we didn't do a mileage report. That's what we'll do. And now, at the mileage that it's at, I have to think of, is that smart money? Is that a good idea? So, and I don't know even what I would do. I never really deeply thought, what would I do to make this car sound even better? But, with the microphone technology they have, and the way these last few episodes have sounded, I don't think it's really important. All right, let's do a mileage report. Well, I almost forgot. I had a weather report. We're going to do 2. We're going to close out the show. Don't go away, because we'll have more show. I mean, But a lot of people do that. As soon as you hear the host go, don't go away, we got more coming, we'll be right back. They go, nah, I'm done. He's just going to say a lot of BS. No, I gave you the Dumbing It Down with Dave hotline. You know the social media, how to get in touch with me. You know about the Spreaker engagement here in the chat box. So let's just do the mileage report. The mileage report. This episode, number 323, getting past the quit for my 2008 Kia Rio LX as I do the loop-de-loop in Coxsackie, New York, is 324,276 miles. Yeah! All right! Wow! But the world needs now is more mileage. Yeah, thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Ed. Appreciate it. Ed McCann, Jerry Lewis. All right. Wow, that was great. 320. I'm actually, for the first time, I'm actually really excited. Yeah, 324,276. That's great. And still getting 30 some odd miles to the gallon. I think I'd get more, but I got a little, my mechanic tells me I have a leak in my gas tank. It's seeping. Somewhere it's seeping. I asked him, all right, I'll pay you the money. Just give me a new tank. No, I don't want to do it. I said, what? He said, no, I don't want to do it. The fuel pump, it's a problem. What? You're a mechanic. Just drop the tank and get a new, whatever. And then I think, all right, I'm going to go to Kia and have them do it. They go, I don't trust the Kia. I don't know. I gotta find somebody maybe. Anyway, then of course at 324,000 miles, I got to think, what's my what is it? RIO return? No, ROI, return on investment. What am I doing it for? How much is it going to cost me? All right. The other thing is the weather report. Hey, not a beautiful sunny day in upstate New York. I'm on 87. Just did the loop-de-loop in Coxsackie. For those of you that don't know what the loop-de-loop is, please feel free to reach out and I'll explain it to you. But I have many episodes where I talk about it. Just Google it, search it. I don't know. Loop-de-loop. Loop-de-loo. Loop-de-loop. Loop-de-loo. Something like that. LOOP-DE or then dash LOO. Loop-de-loo. And I've done episodes on it. I've done many episodes talking about it. And the weather report, it is gray out. It snowed this morning. There was a school delay in my town, 2-hour delay. I think they're a little bit skittish these days. And listen to this, folks. The other day, talk about quit. The other day, they had a 2-hour delay in the school system, public school system, due to a lack of bus drivers. Have you ever heard of that? There's a lack of bus drivers in my town. Holy cow. Kids can't go to school. So not just the kids on the route that the bus drivers didn't show up. And I almost wanted to call them and say, hey, I'm a truck driver. I'll drive the bus. But I go, once they know that you're available, they'll call you all the time. You'll make you full-time in 2 seconds. So, no, I don't want to be a full-time bus driver. I mean, I did at one point think that was a great idea. I still might do it. But my wife said, oh, Dave, you don't want to do that. You don't want to be on that bus with those kids. Not these days. You want to stay far away from kids and bus driving. I said, okay. All right. Since you're going to be my mama sugar bear, don't quit on your job. I need that money. Anyway, so quitting. Let's talk about quitting. What's your quit? How do you get past your quit? What have you quit on? What have you not quit on? How do you get past it? What do you tell yourself? Do you meditate on? Do you pray? Do you look for support? Is it music? How about food? I had a great steak yesterday. And I think between my really deep, it was a good sleep, not a great sleep, it was a good sleep, and my steak, I had this delicious ribeye that I got from Sam's the other day. God, it was so thick and so easy to cook, and it was delicious with the butter and the salt and the pepper. Oh, it was excellent. I love being a carnivore. I love eating like a king and not feeling any regret or any bad feelings. But engage with me here in the Spreaker chat boxes. Don't forget to email me at dumbing-it-down-with-dave@yahoo.com. Look for the Facebook group, Dumbing It Down with Dave Facebook group. I'd love to hear from you on the Facebook group. And don't forget that phone number I gave out. I can't find it again. But call that phone number. And let's see, did I put it here in the show notes here? Let's see. Yeah, 347-338-8487. 337-338-8487. All right, folks, that was great. Another episode, number 323. Getting past the quit of Dumbing It Down with Dave. And we'll do another episode in a couple of days. Weigh-ins on Friday. Maybe I'll do an episode this Friday or this coming Monday. Thank you.